Good morning. For those of you who don't know, my name is Maya Karen. I run a fashion blog called Classically Kept. It does feature luxury, contemporary, and how to style, and now natural hair care and hair care topics. If you're interested in any of those things, please consider subscribing to my channel. Click the notification bell. That way you will never miss a video. So for this portion of the video, I just wanted to take a couple of days and just kind of gather my thoughts. This is going to be the 6-month update video. I have also posted a short, so I will link that down below. This part of the video, and we're just gonna kind of take it back because today is July 2nd and I actually got my ends trimmed and I checked my nape area on June 27th. So I wanted to kind of just sit and gather my thoughts because there are just some things that I'm noticing, I'm recognizing, and just a little frustrating. So, and I will roll it back and explain again once I show you the footage. So let me just really quickly push my hair forward, and you might notice that my hair does look a little shorter. And then you guys know in the back of my head, which is the nape area, you see that I have these, I'm not gonna say nubs, but you can see that this twist is significantly shorter than the rest of them, and the exact same thing with this one. And you guys know why that is, and I will get into it once I get to the photos. But there are a couple of things that I want to touch on, and this is not a knock to any of the people that I'm getting ready to speak about. You guys know that I'm not into exposing people. You guys know how I feel about hairstylists, but I'm beginning to get a little frustrated just with the communication or the lack of communication. I have been to 3 stylists in a year and a half. And as I said, you guys already know how I feel about hairstylists. So in the beginning of 2023, prior to that, I had been doing everything myself, especially the trimming. I decided that in January 2023, I was going to treat myself and get a professional trim. I hopped on Ulta, I found someone, she was wonderful. We began building a great rapport. That was in January. I said to myself that time that I was going to go to her for half of the year, and then the other half of the year, I was going to maintain myself. She gave me a great trim. I called, I want to say maybe like 3 to 4 months after, I called to see if I can schedule an appointment with her. The Ulta lets me know that she moved to Texas. So of course I'm not going to fly to Texas to get my ends trimmed, but I really liked her. So for I believe the rest of that year, I just maintained myself. So then now January of 2024, I'd start typing, start looking things up, and start looking for another hairstylist, specifically just for a trim. I find this hairstylist, she's closer to me, she's in Fort Mill. We start building a wonderful rapport. She did exactly what I wanted her to do. We had a conversation. I felt like this was someone that I could, and even in that video, I will post it down below. And like I said, this is not a knock to her because she did share some things with me about her family life. So I am assuming that that is where she is and what she is doing. But my frustration is that in January, you guys know that I had the nape issue. We talked about what it could be. I had a game plan and I was to come back to her in 6 months. A week before my actual 6-month date, I reach out and there's no answer. I call, leave a message, I didn't receive anything. I DM, I didn't see anything. So then I hop on her Instagram and I see that her last post is around April. So I'm assuming that what we spoke about is what she had to go handle. That's fine. My frustration is that we had this plan set up and now it's not going to come to fruition, or I'm not going to be able to follow through. So now here we are, it's June, it's 2024. I'm just gonna take it all the way back. So I choose to reach out to my old hairstylist from high school. I know she's not going anywhere, she's not having any issues, her daughter is here, her family is here, and things like that. So she should not be going anywhere. So if you notice the person is different, that's why. I just kind of wanted to give the background story first, because I know we've all heard the crazy stories about the lady who's charging for parting. I know we heard the crazy story about the lady who's charging a pregnancy fee. I know we heard the viral sensation about the woman saying that she's not taking 4C clients. We've all heard the crazy stories. So I just wanted to put that out there. It's frustrating. This is not a knock to any of the stylists, but it's just frustrating on my end because I think I'm building these relationships and then things pop up and then the plan that was set in place is not able to be followed through. Nonetheless, that's what that is, but there are other things that I do want to quickly talk about, and it has to do with the huge difference. So you guys know that back in January, we talked about my nape area, and we also talked about why we think it is thinning. It had to do with the elasticated bonnet. You guys know that I wear an elasticated bonnet in between my headscarf and between my headscarf or my head wrap and my hair. A lot of the ones that I wear, they're from Amazon and they are that jersey knit. And I began to notice that as I was wearing them in the beginning stages, they were drying my hair out. That's why I chose to use the silky barrier. So what she was explaining to me is to immediately stop using that, because she did have other clients that were noticing the same thing. The back of their hair was being eaten up and thinning, and then their edges were being thinned out. Luckily for me, I was putting the elasticated bonnet right here so that when I put my head wrap on, I was able to lay my edges and there was a little bit of hair that was being exposed. She told me to stop doing that. I stopped doing that immediately, and you will see in the photos that my hair grew out beautifully, okay? One thing I will say though, you guys know how I feel about split hair. You guys know how I feel about thinning ends. If it's see-through, it has to go. That is just me. I used to be the girl who wanted the length over the health. That's not where I am anymore. If it's see-through and split, because people were asking me that back in January. They were asking, is it thinning? Is it thinning? Is it actually splitting? Or is it just that's how your nape area is? And I answered the question, and basically when you look at the photo, you can actually see hair that's down here, all the hair is right here, and then you can see it actually thinning as it goes up. So that is not normal for me. That is how I knew something was wrong. So let me slide over. So in January, this is how much was cut, and I was satisfied with that at the time. And the reason why it looks like that and what she was explaining to me, because I was getting ready to say cut it. If you think about it, if the nape of my hair is thinning out, especially at the bottom, and then you take the rest of my hair and you put it down or you fold it over and you start combing it, you're going to see holes, right? Because the back or the nape of my hair is thinning out. So it's not necessarily going to look that good, or it's not necessarily going to look that full, but we were going to work on the nape area for it to grow out. Okay, so that's why it looks like that. In the beginning, when I came home, I thought everything was fine. I thought everything that needed to be trimmed needed to be trimmed. In the video that I'm getting ready to show you, my hair is actually shorter than it was in January. So that leads me to a couple of thoughts. The very first thing is that I do not believe, and again, this is not a knock to anyone, this is what I am noticing. And this is going to drive my point home. But I do not believe that in January enough, aside from or besides the actual nape area that was cut a little bit more, the rest of my hair, I do not believe enough was cut. That's just my belief. The second thing is that I am not a 6-month girly, meaning I cannot trim my ends once a month. This has solidified for me that I need to be looking at every 3 to 4 months. The next thing is that in between January and March 18th, because you know that's when I started my Chebe journey, I should have actually myself made an appointment to go back to check on my nape area and to check on my ends. That way I was truly starting with fresh ends, which leads me to my next point. I believe that my hair had actually already started splitting prior to March 18th. If I was pulling my hair down or while I was doing my hair, there weren't really like any tangles or snarls. I know that for me when it's time for a trim, when I was not stretching my hair, I noticed it was time for a trim when my detangling process was taking longer and when I was getting a lot of tangles and snarls at my end. That wasn't necessarily happening even though I had stopped using the combs and even though I was keeping my hair stretched. But like I said, I believe that not enough was cut. That's fine. So in the video, as my old hairstylist from high school is cutting, I will explain this again. But this leads me to my ultimate point. You know your hair. And again, this is not a knock to the first person at Ulta. This is not a knock to the second hairstylist, but you know your hair. I am not questioning their professional capabilities. What I am saying is that you know your hair, especially if this is your first time collaborating with the stylist or you're having your first consultation or this is your first time sitting in their chair. You know your hair. I knew, or I should have known, or I should have thought to myself and said, listen, you're getting ready to start this journey. Maybe you should just go back for a checkup. So I'm saying all of this to say that if you notice there is a slight difference or a large difference in my length of hair, that is why, and I will again go through this as I'm showing you the footage. But I'm saying all of this to tie it up in a neat little bow. is that you know your hair. You spend every single day with your hair. You wash your hair, you straighten it, you blow dry it, you stretch it. You know your hair, okay? So let's go ahead and get into the footage. Okay, so this is June 27th, 2024, and this is my nape area. As you can see, it grew in absolutely beautiful. Let me take you back to January. This is what my hair looked like. So what I have been doing is working, and I do attribute this to the Chebe. This also lets me know that my nape area was indeed thinning and that the elasticated bonnet was the culprit. As far as styling and hair care, that is the only thing that I have eliminated. This is video footage from June 17th, 2024, in anticipation to get my ends trimmed June 18th of 2024. Again, you can see that my hair has grown in beautifully. And then let me give you a side-by-side view. Okay, so this is what I wanted to talk about and focus on. I knew from day one that my ends were eventually going to have to be cut. It was just a matter of my comfort level in weeding out what was causing my nape area to thin. I see 3 levels. Starting at the bottom, some may have cut here. Others may have cut here. If you look on the left, there is still some thinning, so I had my stylist cut here. So afterwards, when she twisted it up, just the back section, she just twisted into 2 sections, and that is what I will continue to work on and work with while it still continues to grow out. Let's move on, but I do want to show you the difference between my nape and the rest of my hair. Okay, so let's address the rest of my hair. As you guys heard me say, this is my hairstylist from high school, so she has seen me grown up, but our relationship has progressed, right? I am an adult. She keeps it real. I asked her, I said, look at my ends. Do they look bad? And what she said to me is that they don't look bad for 6 months, but they are going to have to be cut. And I said, okay, let's do it. Let's move to the front, and it's the same thing in the front. You will see that she is cutting off hair. Okay, so now that you have seen the footage and you can actually see what it is that I was talking about, I just quickly want to talk about what I'm going to do moving forward. The very first thing I want to bring to your attention is mindset. I could have, and I explained this in my short, I could have come home and sulked and been mad and cussed someone out in my head, especially about my nape area, which I will admit, it's short, but I'm having a great time playing with it because the curls are just, they're curling. The curls are curling, right? And it's so easy to just put my Chebe grease or my Chebe powder on here and just twist it up and be done. So I could come home and I could have sulked, I could have cussed, I could have been mad, I could have started swiping pictures and saying, oh my gosh, my hair, my hair. But in these next 3 months, because you guys know that I will be giving you a 6-month update, my mindset, my thought process, how I think about my hair in these next 3 months, in my opinion, is going to be pivotal of the success when it comes to my hair and when it comes to the nape area. My old hairstylist did say that I will be very surprised how fast this section catches up with the rest of my hair. I'm not really worried about it. You guys know that I am health over length, but my point is that my mindset is going to play a major role in how the next 3 months go. So instead of sulking, I came right home, I spritzed my hair, I did my amla leave-in, and I did my Chebe grease. And that's it. Put it up, and now we're going to move forward. The second thing, you guys already know that I have stopped using detangling tools. That will continue. Also, what I'm going to attempt to do, or what I'm going to try, you guys know that when I do the Chebe grease, I do use a brush to smooth my hair down. I'm stopping with the brushing. And then the next thing that I am going to do is I'm going to incorporate back my scalp massages, and I am on the hunt for a hair oil. You guys know, and again, you always have to give these disclaimers, but you guys know that I tried the viral rosemary oil from from Mayel, tore my scalp up. I found out that it has sweet almond oil. I am of the opinion that I'm allergic to sweet almond oil, so My husband had 2 of these and I'm probably going to try either one of them. So the very first one, I believe this is Cryo Essence. This is the Haitian Black Castor Oil. This one has mango, papaya, and coconut. This smells amazing. It smells absolutely amazing. And you can see the bottle is pretty full. And then someone in the community also told me to use the Haitian Black Castor Oil with the rosemary mint. This does not have sweet almond oil. What I'm beginning to recognize is a lot of the growth oils have sweet almond oil in it, and I'm also testing out coconut oil because I've told you guys before that coconut oil and I are not friends. So I'm going to be trying these 2, and then there are 3 other companies that I'm going to look at the ingredients and we can have a conversation about that. But I do need to start incorporating my scalp massages back and oiling my scalp. As far as vitamins, a couple of people have asked me, will I ever try vitamins? Not for this journey, but I did try the hair, skin, and nails. It worked, but I am a very hairy person, and this is TMI. I'm a very hairy person, and the hair was not just growing on my head, okay? So we're going to be leaving the hair pills and the hair growth pills alone. They worked, but they just, I cannot be out here looking like Chewbacca and a Furby. I can't do that. So those are really the kind of the different things moving forward. But as I said before, in the beginning of this, mindset. My mindset is going to play a major role. And the reason also why I say that is because this is the shortest that my hair has ever been. So it could be a scary situation. It could be a frustrating situation. But I knew that I was eventually going to have to cut this. I think that the Chebe helped grow it out beautifully. Excuse me, but I always knew that I was going to have to cut this for me. And you guys heard me talk about the 3 levels when I was showing you the footage. I always knew that I was going to have to cut it, but I'm having fun with it, okay? But like I said, mindset, scalp massage, oil, no brushes, no detangling tools, okay? So I just wanted to give you guys an update. I'm very excited to give you guys a 6-month update, especially since now I truly do have fresh ends, okay? If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I just want to remind you here on YouTube, I do upload videos every Wednesday and Sunday, and of course, right here or right here, I'll put my Instagram handle. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, guys. Bye.
We always have it coming.